The Broncos have won the toss, and they will receive. It's Vaughn Hebron at the goal line to the 20 and falls over to about the 22 or the 23-yard line. A return of about 25 yards. And there is John Elway. 3 touchdown passes so far this season, 525 yards throwing. And you see his numbers, 38 of 56. First down from their own 24-yard line. And Elway will throw on first down to the near side. Terrell Davis out of the backfield and out of bounds, close to a first down. We welcome those of you who've watched the Miami Dolphins knock off the Pittsburgh Steelers. Greg Gumbel along with Phil Simms. We are just underway here in Oakland, California. The Denver Broncos and the Oakland Raiders.
Well, the Broncos come out. They're noted for their 15 plays scripted at the beginning of the game. Right away, Mike Shanahan empties the backfield. Nobody covering Terrell Davis. They get an easy completion.
2nd and 2. The pitch is to Davis. And he's tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Darrell Russell coming up from his defensive tackle position. Let's take a look at the offense behind John Elway. The line looks like this. Tony Jones, Schlereth, Nalen, Dan Neal, and Harry Swain. In the backfield along with Terrell Davis is the rookie. Or rather with Howard Griffith, and then Rod Smith and McCaffrey at the wideouts, Shannon Sharp, the tight end. 3rd and 3 from the 31. Quick drop, Elway, scrambling, can't get away. Lance Johnstone with the sack.
Lance Johnstone, a defensive end for the Raiders, noted for his speed, comes around the edges. That time, good coverage down the field. John Elway, you could see the hamstring. He tried to reverse and scramble away. The legs are not there. He's got to stay in the pocket a little more today than he's used to.
Desmond Howard is deep for the Raiders. Against Dallas last week, Denver scored a touchdown on each of its first 5 possessions. Not so today. Howard from his 33. And out of bounds, close to the 40-yard line. Darius Johnson running him out of bounds. And so the Raiders will have good field position.
Ineligible downfield on the kick, number 42. That penalty is declined. First down, Oakland.
And we welcome those of you who have been watching the game between the San Diego Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs. We are just underway in the first quarter here in Oakland. The Raiders stopped the Broncos on their first possession and now have the football first down at their own 40-yard line.
You know, stopping the Broncos, that's a big thing for this Raider team. Get off to a good start. Hey, the Broncos, maybe the best starting team in the National Football League. They score in that first drive better than anybody. This gives the Raiders a chance. Good field position.
George will give to Napoleon Kaufman, who broke the first running play of the day last week for an 80-yard touchdown. A couple on the play. Here's the Raider offense. From tackle to tackle, Harlow, Wisniewski, Robbins, Derek Graham, and Lincoln Kennedy. With George in the backfield, Napoleon Kaufman and John Ritchie, Tim Brown and James Jett, the wideouts, and Ricky Dudley is the tight end. 2nd and 7. Kaufman out of bounds at about the 47 or the 48-yard line. A quick look at the Denver defense. Keith Traylor is not active today because of a sprained ankle. Mike Lodish starts in his place at the defensive tackle. Romanowski, Kadrez, and Mobley are the linebackers. And in the defensive secondary, the rookie Eric Brown out of Mississippi State starts at safety. 3rd and 2. George to his right. Incomplete. Intended for James Jett.
Good job by Jeff George. Nothing open when he gets the ball, makes the fake, so he buys some time. Something that everybody doesn't realize is how mobile he is. Loves to go to his right. The Broncos would like to stop that today, make him go to his left when he wants to scramble, but good throw, just couldn't make the catch.
Leo Araguz will kick to number 21, Darian Gordon. Wobbling kick will bounce inside the 20, inside the 10, and down at about the 7 or 8 yard line by the Raiders. 45-yard punt. That's where the Broncos will go to work when we come back to Oakland, California. No score here in the first quarter. First and 10 from their own 8-yard line. The Broncos go to work. Elway for Terrell Davis. Big haul up the middle. Across the 15 out to about the 16-yard line. Let's go down to Armin Katayan. Armin.
Greg, I stood next to John Elway just before the game. As he was warming up, I said, John, how you doing? And he nodded his head twice as to say, fine. I talked to the trainer, Steve Antonopoulos. I said, how's John doing? He said he's doing great. But, Phil, as you mentioned, watching him closely, there definitely looks like there's something wrong with that hamstring. Greg, back to you.
Thanks, Armin. Would you expect it to be a little bit tender?
Well, it has to be a little tender. Anytime you pull a hamstring, I wouldn't know, never could run fast enough. But it's not something that just heals in 1 week's time. It takes a couple weeks.
Terrell Davis on 2nd and 2 appears to have enough for the first down close to the 20-yard line. Lance Johnstone with the tackle. Here's a look at the Oakland Raiders defense headed up by coordinator Willie Shaw. Harris and Johnstone out of Temple are the defensive ends. Russell and Maryland inside. The linebackers, Holston, Greg Biekert, and Richard Harvey. And in the secondary, veteran cornerback Albert Lewis starts at free safety in place of injured Anthony Newman. Vaughn Hebron in motion, Elway to throw. Over the middle, incomplete. Coming over to make the play, number 29, Albert Lewis.
Well, Albert Lewis is used to covering people from the sidelines where at corner where he has the sideline as a friend, standing back there in the middle of the field.
Passer, number 51 on the defense, 15 yards, automatic first down.
But he does a good job down the middle. He sees Rod Smith coming, waits till the ball gets there, sticks that right hand in front, keeps the left hand even though it looks like it's on.
Meanwhile, roughing the passer call against the Raiders, and you will see it right here.
Yep, he takes, Lance Johnstone takes 2 steps after John Elway has let the ball go. When you do that, that official standing behind the head referee is going to throw that flag every single time.
An NFL leading 30-second penalty already for the Raiders this season.
And I've seen that a couple of times in the first 3 games, roughing the passer. You got to use better judgment.
Elway for Rod Smith, incomplete, but a penalty marker flies in the defensive secondary. If this is against the Raiders, it would be their NFL leading 33rd.
Well, sometimes the Raiders.
We have 2 fouls. Defensive holding, number 55. That penalty is declined. Pass interference. Number 21 on the defense. Automatic first down.
That's 11-year veteran Eric Allen.
When you're going to play pressure defense, that puts your secondary in some tough situations. So you're going to have to live with these pass interference calls. Eric Allen, to me, looks like he's in good position. The ball was underthrown. Rod Smith didn't have a chance to come back, but still, Eric Allen looking for the ball, did a good job of covering.
It has been a bugaboo for these Raiders for the last several seasons. They just strapped themselves with penalties, and they've done that starting out this season. First down from the 38. Terrell Davis.
Greg, you talk about those penalties. Of course, we brought it up to John Gruden. We talked to him on Friday, and he just shook his head, looked at us, and he goes, well, I'm picking. Because he was hoarse because he's been yelling all week. We are going to get rid of these penalties. We're going to be more disciplined because really, when you, especially on defense, when you commit those penalties, you give that offense 3 more chances. Look at the Broncos. You give them 3 more downs, they're going to take it down in there and score on you quite a bit.
Coming into this game, they had surrendered 31 penalties worth 247 yards. Elway to throw. Incomplete. Rod Smith, the intended receiver.
You know, it's interesting what the Denver Broncos do on offense. John Elway tells us they get in formations because they want to see exactly what the defense is going to. Look at Howard Griffith. He lined up outside. He's going to come in the backfield. How the defense adjusts, that tells John Elway what the coverage is. Are they going to blitz? So he already knows when he drops back to pass what's going on because the formation helped him out.
Big down for the Raider defense here. 3rd and 9 from the 37. Elway from the shotgun. Complete to Smith, and that's enough for a first down for the Broncos.
Well, John Elway didn't pull his arm last week. It still looks pretty fresh. And that time, you know, you got Marquise Walker. He is all over Rod Smith. Check it out. John, good protection. Gets that rhythm pat, and he just lets it go. It looks like it's going to be knocked down. But the defensive back, they can't react to the pass because it's so fast getting to the receiver.
First down from the 26. Broncos come out with a double tight end setup. Shannon Sharp and Dwayne Carswell. This is Sharp in motion with the near side. Elway with time. McCaffrey. Incomplete, but another penalty marker flag. Charles Woodson on the coverage.
Well, that was just an excellent read by John Elway. Looking left, coming back right. He sees Ed McCaffrey, 6'5", big receiver, going down the middle of the field, covered by a defensive back, a rookie Charles Woodson. Throws a perfect pass, and Woodson
Holding. Number 24. That penalty is declined. Pass interference. Number 24. Automatic first down.
Charles Woodson had it all covered, didn't he?
Well, you might as well get it all done in one play, and that's what he does. But Charles Woodson grabbing a hold of Ed McCaffrey. Tough chore trying to cover him. Now wide receiver inside. There's the holding, and then puts his hands on him again while he's down the field. But he does break up the pass to prevent the touchdown.
Oakland Raiders, 3 penalties worth 63 yards already. We still have 9:03 to play in the first quarter.
Well, that again was caused by they were blitzing, trying to get to the quarterback, puts the defensive backs in tough position.
First and goal from the 5. Davis. About the 3.
You know, Terrell Davis, you know, Greg just watched him run. Every time he runs in there, if you're playing, let's say you're on the right side of the offense playing defense, if he runs left, don't move. Willie Shaw, don't run after him. Wait, because he loves to cut back, stay in position, be disciplined, and that way you can stop him from having those big runs and scoring touchdowns.
Second and goal from the 4. Davis. Left side to about the 1. Albert Lewis with the stop.
You know, that's just a good example. That play, Terrell Davis, he's a fast runner, he's shifty, but when nothing's there, watch this, he knows where he's on the field. One little move, and everything is up the field, and he has power, gets hit, makes the move around again. The guy that time on defense gets it down to about the half-yard line.
Denver Broncos have been very efficient indeed, getting into the red zone and then from there to the end zone.
Yeah, you can run it, you can throw it, so you know, it's pretty easy for them once they get down inside.
Play fake, Elway, end zone, touchdown, McCaffrey.
Now, I don't know how that ball got in there. I mean, I don't know. I got a great view. I'm right behind John Elway. He throws it. Eric Turner's in. He's in perfect position. He doesn't even go for the fake. He keeps outside leverage. He's perfect. And Ed McCaffrey makes the catch. Well, the old cliche, you can't defend the perfect pass. And that was the perfect pass and a really nice catch by Ed McCaffrey.
Jason Elam for the extra point. And it's good. A 92-yard drive helped along by 63 yards worth of penalties. Elway with a touchdown pass to McCaffrey. The Broncos with a 7-point lead. McCaffrey 1-yard touchdown pass. And now Desmond Howard deep for the Raiders. This kick won't be very deep. Howard at the 9. And corralled at about the 12 or 13-yard line. Just a 4-yard return. It'll be the Raiders' ball when we come back to Oakland right after this. CBS Premier Week kicks off tomorrow. CBS, 1st and 10 for the Raiders. Napoleon Kaufman spins away from a tackle. Out over the 20 to about the 23-yard line. Tanavasa with the tackle.
The Denver Broncos, you know, they're talking about today when you're playing against Napoleon Kaufman, the Broncos like to crowd a lot of people near the line of scrimmage on their defense, and if he can get through that first wave of defenders, he has a chance to break those long runs. That's why they can be smart, tuck up inside to keep him from getting to the secondary.
George to throw on 2nd down. Over the middle, has a man wide open, and he's got him. James Jett to about the 37-yard line, 36-yard pickup, and a Raider 1st down.
Well, Jeff George says, when I go deep, I like to go to James Jett. If I'm going to go underneath, I go to Tim Brown, play action pass, and you get James Jett against the safety, Steve Atwater, down the field. That is a tough matchup for the Denver Bronco defense, and a perfect throw by Jeff George.
First down from the 37. Kaufman, near side, finds nothing but Broncos. And for an NFL Today report, let's check in for the first time today with Jim Nance in New York. Jim.
Okay, Greg and Phil with James Stewart bench with a leg injury. In comes the rookie Fred Taylor out of Florida, and he'll reverse the field and take it 52 yards. Watch this for a moment. Celebrated a little early, then turned on the gas. 7-0 Jacksonville. Back to you in Oakland.
All right, Jim. We had a chance to see Fred Taylor only in the preseason and last week. He's quick. 2nd and 10. Kaufman again, near side, blocking. Out of bounds. Pushed out by Darius Johnson after a 17-yard pickup.
Good call by John Gruden on the sideline. The Broncos, they like to be aggressive. They love to blitz. Now when you go outside, there's nobody there. They're playing pass all the way. 4 wide receivers. And Napoleon Kaufman on the outside. That's something you don't want to see if you're on the Bronco defense. This Bronco defense will take a lot of chances. They try to make the offense make a mistake.
First down from the 17. Kaufman dancing through a hole close to the 10-yard line. 7-yard pickup. Let's go down to Armin.
You know, Greg, about Napoleon Kaufman, he's not only maybe the most explosive back in the league, he may be the strongest back pound for pound in the league. We were talking to some of the offensive linemen. They don't like him in the weight room because he embarrasses them. Back to you.
I don't like anybody in the weight room.
Yeah.
Harvey Williams has replaced Kaufman now in the backfield. 2nd and 4 from the 11. This is Williams. And Williams is grabbed by Tanavasa as he approached the line of scrimmage. Maybe a pickup of a yard.
You know, it's important for the Oakland Raiders to run this football today. They've given up. Jeff George been sacked 15 times in the first 2 games. So if you can run it, keep that defense off guard just a little, so when Jeff George goes back to pass, it doesn't have to always be in such obvious situations, and it can help the protection out. That's the main reason they're trying to run the football.
3rd and 3 from the 10. Tim Brown in motion to the far side of the field. George to throw, coming back this way. Complete and hit. Coming out of the secondary. Terry Mickens with the reception and Ray Crockett with the tackle. 4th.
And it's less
and a
than
yard
1.
or 2.
John Gruden, this is where you find out. He looks like he's going to go for it on 4th down. This is the time you find out if you got a running game. You know, this is what you want to do. You want to go out there, 4th and about a half a yard. You want to be able to just line up in the I formation and have your running back running up in there and pick up that 1st down.
Harvey Williams back into the backfield for the Raiders. 4th and 1. Williams up and over. The Raiders say he made it. The Broncos say he didn't. And we'll have a measurement.
You know, I thought he made it. The initial push looked good by the Oakland Raiders. Not a great spot. Steve Atwater's pretty sure he's walking off the field. I was just talking to some of the Raider coaches over the weekend and Friday. This is the things, these are the things they want to get done. You know, you can tell when your team's progressed, when you can just get up there and it's like automatic, you can pick up these kind of first downs.
He didn't make it.
Nope.
Ball goes over to the Broncos on downs at the 8-yard line. We have 3:15 to play here in the first quarter. Denver's ball when we come back.
Well, you be the judge. Fourth and about a half a yard. Watch Barrett Robbins, Steve Wisniewski. They get a good push. Up front, Harvey Williams go over the top. He needs to get inside the 7-yard line. To me, it looks like he's at least there, a little past it. They mark the ball short of the 7-yard line. He misses it by about 6 inches. I think
so it'll be first down for the Broncos from their own 8, which is exactly where their last drive started.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Greg. I think Harvey Williams did the right thing. You get the push, you try to go up over the top, but you know, I thought he got there, but the officials didn't see it that way.
So Elway from his own 8. And he'll throw. Out of backfield and incomplete, intended for Howard Griffin. Saw some beautiful aerial shots just a moment ago, didn't you, Phil?
Yes, I did.
These aerial pictures courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp Eagle, based in Carson, California. Goodyear recently increased its blimp fleet to 6, adding 2 airships in Europe and 1 in South America for those football games being played in South America. 2nd and 10. Raider fans calling on their defense for a stand. Davis out across the 10 to about the 11 or 12-yard line, pick up about 3. Greg Beekert with the tackle. It'll be 3rd and 7 now with the ball at the 11. Elway from the shotgun. Outside, incomplete. Shannon Sharp was out there, but nowhere near him. Eric Turner with the coverage, and the Broncos will be forced to kick.
Well, that's what you need to do. When you got the offense backed up, they had them backed up last time. They let them go the length of the field for the score. Put some pressure on them. Now you hope your offense gets in good field position and get a score on the board and tie this game up.
Tom Rowan to kick it away to Desmond Howard, who is just the other side of midfield for the Raiders. Backing Howard up to his own 27. Straight up the middle. And finally down at about the 46 or 47-yard line. Byron Chamberlain with the tackle. A 60-yard punt by Rowan. 21-yard return by the Raider defensive coordinator Willie Shaw has to be absolutely in pain seeing his team give up 63 yards in penalties in a 92-yard Denver drive.
Well, the one that's the killer is the roughing the passer. They had the Broncos in a good situation, and Lance Johnstone hits John Elway way after the ball.
George over the middle, incomplete. Number 83, Ricky Dudley, the intended receiver. And what a collision, and now a late flag thrown in after the hit by Steve Atwater.
Steve Atwater led with the helmet. You cannot do that. That is a penalty. Personal foul. And he's still down. You can hear the hit from all the way up here.
Steve Atwater at 6'3", 220, and Ricky Dudley.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 27 of the defense.
In Ricky Dudley, you're talking about 6'6", 250.
Well, watch Steve Atwater coming all the way across the field. Leads with the helmet. You're not allowed to do that. Not only does it have a chance to hurt the offensive player, helmet to helmet, you can see the blow, but really it puts yourself in danger. So it's something you don't want to teach, something you definitely don't want to see.
Atwater acknowledged as one of the tougher safeties in the National Football League.
Well, He is. I mean, he's noted to be a big hitter, and teams that play against the Denver Broncos, if you're a receiver, you always got to know where number 27 is, because he runs around, has a lot of freedom, lines up all over the field, and you're right, Greg, he's a big hitter.
Atwater walking off the field. Eric Brown will now come in at one of the safety spots along with the veteran Tyrone Braxton.
You know, Steve Atwater last year in the Super Bowl against the Green Bay Packers, I mean, that was probably the most physical game I've ever seen a defensive back that as long as I've been covering football, I've seen one play, because he was hitting. If it moved, he hit it. I mean, he was hitting everybody, and one of the big reasons why they won the football game.
So the Raiders get a break now because of the penalty. It's first down, Oakland from the Denver 37. George making some calls at the line. Throws outside, complete. James Jett out of bounds at about the 25-yard line.
Well, Jeff George was telling us he wants to come to the line of scrimmage, and they are going to do some checking off, which they did in that play that time. He saw James Jett. If he put him out in the flat, nobody there to cover him. And he says, most of the time when we check off, it's going to be a quick pass. 3 steps so I can get rid of the football, give our guys a chance to get the ball and do something with it.
First down, Broncos from the 25, or Raiders from the 25, excuse me. Kaufman, big hole up the middle. Inside the 20 to about the 17-yard line.
Boy, good job up front. Steve Wisniewski, number 76, the left guard. Barrett Robbins, the center. Check him out inside. Good block on Trevor Price by Steve Wisniewski, and a big hole for Napoleon Kaufman to run into.
27, Steve Atwater back on the field for the Broncos. 2nd and 2 from the 17. Kaufman again. Dances to a first down to about the 10. Little Barry Sanders type move at the line of scrimmage.
Looked good. It looked good. You know, John Gruden talking about playing against this Bronco defense. Of course, he wants to run the football, open those holes at the inside. But he described the Broncos defense. He says they do a lot of gambling. And we had a chance to watch them on film. They take a lot of chances. And we're going, he goes, and of course they can afford to do that, because that defense, they know that their offense is going to put a lot of points on the board, so they can gamble, take some chances, hope you turn the ball over.
First and goal from the 10. George blitz and down behind the 20, back at about the 23-yard line. Clem Cadrez and Bill Romanowski in from the linebacker slots.
Well, what did Bill Romanowski tell us yesterday? I'm smarter, I'm bigger, and I'm faster. And you can see it. Here he is on the outside. Coming, nobody there to block him. Glenn Cadrez up the middle. And boy, do linebackers like that when they get those free shots at quarterback. But that's the one thing you notice when you watch the Denver Bronco defense. Romanowski blitzing more, being more effective getting to the quarterback.
16 times this year now. Jeff George has been sacked as time runs down here in the first quarter. That is the end of the first quarter here in Oakland. The Raiders on the move, but the Denver Broncos on top 7-0 by virtue of John. Second goal from the 21. George screens to Kaufman, left side. And gets to about the 15-yard line. Bill Romanowski helping out with the tackle for the Broncos.
Well, the Raiders, they're guessing right. You know, the Broncos send everybody from the right. They got a screen pass to the left to Napoleon Kaufman. As soon as he catches, I think that might be a score, but the speed of the Bronco defense chases him down from behind, and the guys in the end zone actually come back up and help get on the tackle. Greg Robinson, the defensive coordinator. You know, it must be fun to be the coordinator for defense of the Broncos. Just come up and draw up anything you want. Just
go get them.
Go get them. You know, because, again, like you said, they know their offense is going to score points.
Players jump on both sides. Penalty markers fly. Let's see what referee Jerry Austin's going to call.
Prior to the snap, ball start. Number 77, 5 yards.
That's the left tackle, Pat Harlow.
Well, Pat Harlow, he is passing situations. He's given up quite a few sacks this year. Number 77, he knows here they come again. There's a blitz inside. You can see the blitzer coming in there. He's worried about it. Jumps the snap count.
4 Oakland penalties now for 68 yards. 3rd and goal from the 19. George under the gun, goes down again. Trevor Price with the sack. 2nd time today. 17th time this season.
Well, 17 times. It's not always bad blocking. It's not always the fault of the offensive line. This time, Jeff George, you got to know where you're on the field. It's field goal territory. It's time. You think if it's going to break down the protection, throw the ball away, make the field goal attempt much shorter than the one you have right now.
44-yard field goal attempt coming up by Greg Davis. His long this year, 41. High snap. It's down. The kick is up. Looks good. Is good. 13:24 to play in the first half. Greg Davis gets the Raiders on the board. It's a 7-3 Denver lead. Greg Davis set the kickoff to the Broncos. Deep for Denver is number 22, Vaughn Hebron. This one is short. Detron Smith across the 25, out to the 30-yard line. 15-yard return puts the Broncos in good field position for John Elway and company. You know, John appeared to be in as good a mood as we have ever seen him when we talked to him yesterday.
Well, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, you won the Super Bowl. The first 2 games of the year, you've destroyed the 2 teams your offense has, so he knows he's got a lot of weapons. Mike Shanahan's over there, you know, calls a great game. The system is very quarterback friendly, so that's put him in a good mood.
Terrell Davis. Maybe a yard if he's lucky. Terry Wooden with the tackle.
When you're playing this Bronco offense, if you're a defensive lineman, you have got to hold your ground, stay in there, occupy some blockers, so the linebackers and secondary can run around and make the tackles against Terrell Davis.
2nd and 9. Davis again, left side, bigger hole. Comes up maybe a yard or 2 shy of first down yardage. Albert Lewis with the stop after 8 yards.
Well, Willie Shaw, the defensive coordinator for the Raiders, he said it right, and you know, I've heard it before, but Terrell Davis, if there's a hole in that offensive line somewhere to run the ball, he finds it. And if you're a defensive lineman for the Oakland Raiders, Russell Maryland, number 67, his job, occupy as many blockers as possible. He does a good job, keeps the offensive lineman at the line of scrimmage, but his linebacker's not there to make the tackle. There was Willie Shaw, the defensive coordinator.
3rd and 2. Elway will throw for it. Complete. Shannon Sharp at midfield, and that's a first down for the Broncos.
Shannon Sharp, he might benefit more from the running game of the Denver Broncos than any receiver in football. He's going to be on this side. He's going to release and come out. Here he comes. Everybody's thinking it's run. Eric Turner, number 42, not able to get over there quick enough. And Greg Beaker, the linebacker, has him in man coverage. But hey, 3rd and 2, he thinks Terrell Davis is going to get the football.
First down for the Broncos at midfield. Elway going to throw. Over the middle, in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, Rod Smith. And a penalty marker is down. And this will go against Denver.
Holding, number 77, 10 yards, repeat first down.
That's Tony Jones.
Tony Jones, right tackle last year for the Super Bowl champions. Gary Zimmerman retires. Now he's the left tackle. Look to the top of your screen. He's on Lance Johnstone. Lance Johnstone, he is a speed rusher. 90% of the time, he's going to try to outrun you to the outside to get to the quarterback.
These teams split the regular season series last year. Here in Oakland, the Raiders surprised the Broncos 28-25, and then in Denver were blown out by the Broncos 31-3. 1st and 20 from the 40. Elway to the side, incomplete, and coming up to make the hit on Terrell Davis was Charles Woodson.
Well, no running backs in the backfield. The Raiders, they saw this last week. The Dallas Cowboys made no adjustments, did nothing to stop the passing game, but the Raiders are ready for it. 5 receivers out. The defensive secondary in good position. Nobody's coming wide open. Willie Shaw, he says, hey, the toughest thing about this Bronco offense is just lining up in the proper position with the way they spread people out and the way they move all the receivers.
Inside handoff, Davis. Davis across the 45 to about the 48-yard line. Pickup of about 8 on the play. It'll be 3rd and long for Denver. You know, going back to John Elway and talking about our conversations with Mike Shanahan, we asked Mike, when did he know that John was coming back? I thought it was funny. Shanahan said, I was afraid to ask him. I didn't want to influence his decision.
That's right. That's what he didn't want to do, because he knew deep down if he asked John and begged him or whatever, that John Elway would come back.
Most coaches would beg.
Well,
3rd and 13. Elway across the field, complete to Terrell, to Rod Smith make it. And that's enough for the first down, and now a late penalty marker flies. And this will go against the Broncos. Well, suddenly the penalty-ridden Raiders.
Pass interference, number 84 of the offense, 10 yards, repeat 3rd down.
That's against Shannon Sharp. Suddenly the penalty-ridden Raiders are seeing things go in the other direction for them.
Well, you know, the Raiders had 31 penalties against them in the first 2 games. But the 2 teams they played, Kansas City and the New York Giants, they committed 24. So that kind of tells you there's a lot going on there, and the game was at a pretty hard pace both times. So when you get like that, there's going to be penalties, and we're seeing that here today.
Clock continues to run, coming up on 10 minutes to play here in the first half. Elway looking at 3rd and a bunch.
5 wide receivers, all 5 receivers split out for the Denver Broncos.
Elway wide open, and the catch is made by Marcus Nash. That is enough for a Denver first down, a pickup of 25.
The Raiders spread you out. You play what they call a 3-deep zone. Here it is. Watch the seams. They call this the seams on the field. Down at the bottom, you'll see the receiver go right up. John Elway looks to his right. The defense is looking to the right, and all of a sudden turns left and throws a bullet in between the safety down here, up here, and the corner down here. Good throw to Marcus Nash.
Marcus Nash, the rookie out of Tennessee. First down for Denver at the 33. Davis, left side. Finds a bit of running room.
That last play really illustrates the pass to Marcus Nash that John Elway threw. Says a lot about their offense. No matter what the situation, they got something different for you, and they got a play designed that gives them a chance to pick up the first down. Now, we've done enough games, you see in the NFL, teams getting 3rd and long, usually they throw a screen, they run a draw, they play field position. Not the Broncos. Let's pick up the first down and try to score.
2nd and 4 for the Broncos. Elway fakes the handoff. Rolling right, throws, hits his man, Sharp. And Sharp with enough for the first down at about the 20. Same kind of play that Elway appeared to injure himself a week ago against the Cowboys.
Yeah, he was sprinting right to throw a pass, and we see that a lot, and John Elway checking that hamstring out. Almost the exact same play, running this right, throwing wise off balance.
And the Broncos stop the clock with 8:15, and you see John reaching back at that hamstring.
Greg, he's going to jump to throw the ball just like last week. And when he lands,
it hurts.
It hurts.
To Oakland, where John Elway has gone to the sideline. Remember, Armin Katayan told us at the very start that Elway's leg looked tender. Bubby Brister has replaced him in the lineup now. First down for the Broncos at the Oakland 19.
The good thing for the Broncos, Bubby Brister practiced Wednesday and Thursday, took almost all the snaps in this offense.
And he's going to throw right away. Now he's going to pull it down and run. and is hit at about the 12 or 11-yard line. Let's go back to the John Elway play, the play before.
Watch what happens. All week long, you get a tender hamstring. You never push off. As he's going to his right, this step, boom, he puts that weight on that right leg probably for the first time since last week when he hurt it against the Dallas Cowboys. You know, I watched him warm up, a little gingered, being very careful with the right hamstring. During the game, he hasn't really pushed off and made that hard step. That was probably the first time he put all the weight on that leg, pushed off, twinged that hamstring again.
2nd and 2 from the 11. Davis met in the backfield and brought down. Loss of 1 on the play. Pat Swilling with the tackle. Let's go down to Armin.
I got you. I'm down here on the sideline here where Elway, the update on Elway is it's a strained, same hamstring strained, and he's questionable to return. Back to you, Greg.
All right, Armin.
Well, this is the type of injury, the Broncos, you got to be a little careful with it. If he went out there and really hurt it, you know, to another degree, then he could be messing with this thing all year long. So you're 2-0, you got to play it safe.
3 wide receivers in on 3rd and 4. Big rush on Brister, intercepted. Eric Turner is going to go. 94 yards, and the Raiders have the lead. First turnover by the Denver Broncos this season.
Bubby Brister comes into the game. Richard Harvey gets in his face, makes him throw it before he's ready. Eric Turner on the coverage. The inspirational leader of the defense, the man has been playing hard and making plays the first 2 games, comes up with a big interception.
The extra point is good. Eric Turner made the interception that clinched the victory a week ago against the New York Giants. His 94-yard return has the Raiders on top.
You make him make decisions quicker, and you give him less time to throw the ball with accuracy. Eric Turner playing Shannon Sharp, perfect position, goes underneath, makes the easy interception.
3rd time in his career he has returned an interception for a touchdown. The kickoff. Everyone will watch it go out of bounds. That kind of a play is exactly the kind of play that John Gruden was looking for to give his team a boost early on in the game.
Well, you know, Greg, we talked about it earlier, really. If you're going to play pressure defense, you're going to commit some penalties and things like that. But the big side of it is you're looking for those turnovers, which they just created.
When we come back, Denver ball on their own 40-yard line, and the Raiders with a 3-point lead.
CBS is sponsored.
Up at halftime, we'll be sending you to our New York studios for the NASDAQ halftime report. Jim Nantz, Marcus Allen, Brent Jones, George Seifert getting you caught up on all the action from this 3rd weekend of the '98 NFL season. That's coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report. What do you want to say?
I see a lot of those 32 jerseys out here in the stands. You know, those Raider 32s.
Who would that be?
Zach Tatum.
Bubby Brister gonna throw. Tipped at the line. Incomplete. Greg Biekert with a hand on the pass. And suddenly this Raider defense is real fired up.
Well, you know, there's a lot of things to be fired up about. You create the turnover, you score the touchdown, you got John Elway out of the game. I mean, there's a lot of things to be happy about. So they can kind of smell it. Bubby Brister made a mistake when they pressured him, so the defensive line knows, let's keep after him. He's lacking self-confidence now. Let's take advantage of it.
Eric Lavelle is the running back behind Bubby Brister on 2nd and 10. He gets the handoff. Hit as he crosses the 40 by James Harris and Albert Lewis.
Did you see that last play? He runs it up in there, and there's about 8 Raiders in there making the tackle. Now, if you're a Raider fan, if you haven't seen him this year, watch him go to the football. Just enthusiasm, more effort. They're trying harder. Look at the players. Get in there. Jump on the pile. Get a hit. And that's the one thing I've noticed in the first 2 games. Just looks like they're trying harder. And Willie Shaw said that was the first thing they wanted to accomplish here with this Raider defense. More effort and playing smarter.
Willie Green and Marcus Nash added to the receiving corps. Brister going to run it toward midfield. First down yardage across the 45, down to about the 43 or 42-yard line. 14-yard pickup and a Denver first down.
Well, the defensive lineman, you got to realize, Bubby Brister, like John Elway, can move around. So here they come up the field. Look at this lane they create for the quarterback to see through and to run up into. Nobody looking at him. Man coverage down the field. Everybody has their back to the quarterback. That's the time to run.
And, you know, when your quarterback is running free and he's going to gain some yardage, if you're the wide receiver, the last thing you want him to do is fall on you. Foul on Rod Smith. Coming up on 5 minutes to play in the first half. First down, Denver from the 43-yard line, the Oakland Raiders. Pulled down in the backfield by Richard Harvey is Terrell Davis.
Well, what a play by Richard Harvey coming from the New Orleans Saints. Willie Shaw knows all about him. He was down there last year. He's not worried about the cutback. He gets into the backfield, takes all options away from Terrell Davis. And that's the style of defense everybody in the National Football League is playing now. Penetration, get in the backfield, create some chaos for the offense.
Davis, 13 carries for 37 yards today. Second and 11. Brister, all kinds of time, throws, penalty marker flies as the pass falls incomplete.
Pass interference or holding. Against Rod Smith, I think, because he was trying to do a double move.
Well, here's Jerry Austin to tell us.
We have 2 fouls on the play. Holding, number 77. Illegal contact, number 21 of the defense. The penalty is offset. Repeat, second down.
That's Tony Jones holding on the Broncos offensive line, and the defensive back is Eric Allen.
Eric Allen used to play for the Philadelphia Eagles, went to the New Orleans Saints, now out here, loves to look into the backfield. That time Rod Smith was doing like a curl goal, running the route, stopping, then he took off. Eric Allen looking in the backfield, went for that first fake, so he held on to the receiver to keep him from going behind him and scoring a touchdown.
Look across the line at Eric a couple of times in your playing days?
Yeah, we saw him from the other way too. Said, hey, that was a hell of a play. See you later.
Second and 11 from the 44. 4:15 to play here in the first half. Brister under the gun finds Shannon Sharp. First down yardage to about the 20-yard line. And Brister comes up limping a little bit, but he looks fine. 23-yard pickup.
If you're going to be on offense, I love what the Raiders are doing here. I love it. The Broncos take everybody out of the backfield. They're going to blitz. Look at this. They're not even picked up 2 free guys. Hit the quarterback. That'll stop them from running these type of plays. Greg Biekert and Terry Wooden, and it takes a fantastic throw by Bubby Brister to get it off and find Shannon Sharp.
First down from the 20 for the Broncos. Across the 20, Lance Johnstone with the stop on Terrell Davis.
You know, if I was a defensive coordinator and I was playing this Denver Bronco offense, when they do those formations where they have nobody in the backfield, I would blitz. I would hit their quarterback and let them know all day long I'm going to do that. Now, you're going to give up a big play every now and then, but sometimes Mike Shanahan's going to stand over and go, hey, I'm tired of watching my quarterback take these hits, so let's settle this thing down.
Second and 8. Going in the backfield again. Brister, time to throw, goes to the end zone. Incomplete. Intended for Rod Smith. Eric Allen tipped it away.
Well, that time they do it again. The Raiders play soft defense, and if John Elway was in there in rhythm, I think this would be an easy touchdown. Bubby Brister does a good job of coming backside. If he just gets us a little higher, it's a touchdown. Rod Smith behind the secondary, but a good job by Eric Allen at the last second, reaching up, making the play.
Third and 8. We're inside of 3 minutes here in the first half. pickup of maybe 2. And that'll bring Jason Elam onto the field for the field goal attempt.
Well, Bubby Brister back there in the shotgun behind the line of scrimmage. Not a good snap by Tom Naden, but a good job of picking it up and somehow getting it to Terrell Davis and not losing valuable yardage down here when you're trying to kick that field goal.
From the 25, this will be a 35-yard field goal attempt by Elam. Well within his range. And that'll tie us up.
The kick is good.
Elam is a perfect 3 for 3 in field goals this season, and we're tied at 10. Another view from up above, one of the world's most enduring symbols. The Goodyear Blimp Eagle has been providing these aerial pictures. We'll look inside the Goodyear Blimp and how it maneuvers. Try its website at www.goodyear.com.
Did you ever notice how big the infield is in a baseball field? Huh?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
About that big.
You know, not that I don't have anything to do before games, but I measured it. It's 60 yards across, just in case you want to know.
Speaking of, how about Mr. McGuire, number 65 today?
That's right. You know, I hope when the season's over that McGuire and Sammy Sosa, I want them to tie. Is that good or bad?
No, I think it's a noble gesture on your part.
Well,
I said a lot of times when you were playing with the Giants, you guys and the Cowboys are so good, I hope you tie.
we hope we tie each other. Yes, that's right.
Desmond Howard from the 1. Little stop and start, and that's going to kill him before he gets to the 15-yard line. 13-yard return. Derek Lavelle with the tackle. And so Jeff George and company have 2 minutes and 1 second here in the first half.
Well, it seems like the Raider offense hasn't been out there at all today. We've been watching the Raider defense against the Bronco offense, and last time they're out, though, Jeff George having some success throwing the football down the field.
Both wide receivers to the far side of the field. George with the pitch to Napoleon Kaufman. Got a blocker in front of it. First down yardage. Napoleon Kaufman finally brought down by Steve Atwater after about a 15-yard pickup. And at 1:52 on the clock, we'll pause for the 2-minute warning. And we'll be sending you to our New York studios, the NASDAQ halftime report. Jim, Marcus, Brent, and George getting you caught up on all the action. There's been a lot of action so far today. Coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report. Jeff George, first down. Eludes the blitz. Throws, incomplete, almost intercepted. Darius Johnson with the defensive play. That pass intended for John Ritchie out of the backfield. That's only the 7th pass attempted by Jeff George today.
Well, they haven't been out there. It's hard to throw the ball when you're on the bench. Watching the Bronco offense.
There! Thank you, Phil.
Yes, that's what I'm here for. To give
why you're one of the premier analysts of the day.
Got it.
2nd and 10 from the 34. George with time over the middle, intercepted. Romanowski to the 30 and brought down at about the 28-yard line. Pat Harlow made the tackle.
Well, this is a case where Jeff George got locked into one receiver, and that one receiver is Tim Brown going across the middle. He looks down the middle of the field. Tim Brown's coming across. Bill Romanowski, Jeff George, you could see, was looking over the top. Never saw the linebacker, Bill Romanowski, underneath. Romanowski makes the catch, and looked pretty quick running that ball back.
John Gruden told us yesterday that on occasion, Jeff George tends to get locked into Tim Brown because he's had success with him.
Well, it's only natural for the quarterback to look for his best receiver. Everybody in the league does it, but he thinks Jeff George and Tim Brown maybe do it a little too often.
Minute 38 to play here in the first half. Bubby Brister loses the handle, picks it up, and is dropped at about the 28 or 29-yard line. Number 98, Chuck Osborne, in on it.
Well, I don't know what it is. I mean, it's in the shotgun formation. You're 5 yards behind the center. It's not that John Elway's in there taking a step. Bubby just drops that one down at the knees. Should have had it. It was a draw play again to Terrell Davis, but a good job of picking it up and not losing any yards.
And Denver, you time out with 1:27 to play here in the first half.
You know, this offense, even though John Elway is out, and everybody thinks, well, that'll be the end of it. It won't be, because it's well designed. It kind of reminds me of San Francisco's offense in a way. The system is so good. The players are good. The play calling is always excellent, keeps the defense off balance. All these things should help Bubby Brister. He should come in here and have success and move the football.
I asked you during the last timeout if it means anything to you that John Elway is still on the sideline as opposed to back in the locker room receiving any kind of treatment.
I think he's there just for an emergency. I can't imagine under any circumstances him coming back in today unless something happened to Bubby Brister and they wouldn't want to go to the third quarterback, Brian Greasy.
2nd and 11. 4 wide receivers on the field for the Broncos. Brister, quick pass. McCaffrey diving for the first down. May have come up a little short of it.
Charles Woodson with the coverage.
Well, plenty of time for the Denver Broncos. Still have 1 timeout, 1:13. Take your time. Just make sure you do whatever you got to do to pick up this first down. Probably a quarterback sneak.
Nice ball.
Well, you knew how I knew that?
Tell me.
Because there was no running backs behind him. See? So
You can always throw for it, but I admire your perception. Denver uses its 3rd and final timeout. Let's go down to Armin Katayan. Armin.
Greg, picking up on what you said as far as the Elway treatment issue, we talked to the trainer on the sideline. They won't reveal as to whether there'll be any treatment for Elway at halftime. John basically right now is just standing there stretching his leg. We'll see what happens in the second half. Back to you.
Okay, Armin. I think, Bill, you said, too, that if this were a playoff game and it were absolutely necessary, you'd expect that Elway would be back in there.
He would be back in there. The only thing he wouldn't do, he probably wouldn't take any chances, wouldn't scramble around, and he would drop back in the pocket, either throw the ball immediately. If something wasn't there, he'd just get rid of it and wait for the next down.
Let's go back to the play on which Elway re-injured the hamstring that he injured a week ago.
You know, I'm sure the dirt, the different surfaces that Elway has to run across does not help that situation. But again, when you hurt a hamstring, I'm sure he never tested it fully all week long. Probably never ran real hard in warm-ups. Just wanted to make sure he was okay to see if he could go out there and function. First time he took off, it hurt.
First down from the 17 and movement, and this play won't count.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 74.
That's Harry Swain, the right tackle.
It's still first down.
Meanwhile, over on the sideline, as Bubby Brister continues to work, Elway, you can tell, is not exactly having a good old time.
I think it could be the hamstring, but also when the offensive line jumps off sides or does it, he's like, oh, geez. But that would be a case in point where the Harry Swain, they're used to the rhythm of Elway out of the shotgun. It is different with Bubby Brister coming in, so they catches some of these linemen a little off guard.
1st and 15. Brister, pump fake, goes for the end zone, incomplete, but a penalty marker is down. Intended for Marcus Nash. Shannon Sharp pointing at the Raider defense.
Pointing at Eric Allen, number 21.
Illegal contact. Number 21 of the defense, 5 yards, automatic first down.
So we're back to where we were 2 plays ago. John Gruden said he yelled himself hoarse this week about penalties.
Well, there's nothing you can do about those type of penalties. You know, you can, as a coach. Wait. No, as a coach, you can work on offsides, line it up right, maybe some of the stupid penalties, hitting the quarterback late, conduct. But when it comes to pass interference, you know, these guys got to get out there and play. There's a lot of tough situations. You're going to have those penalties.
Illegal contact is illegal contact. Brister going for the end zone. Throws out of bounds, intended for Rod Smith. But there is no question that the Raiders have hurt themselves greatly.
Well, those are a lot of things to overcome. Sacks allowed, 36 penalties, 11 fumbles, which I think is it's astounding. And then they've lost 6 of them. It's amazing they're 1-1. and tied at halftime as of now in their third game.
45 seconds to play here in the first half. 2nd and 10. Remember, the Broncos are out of timeouts. Brister, this side, complete. Smith works his way out of bounds to stop the clock, and a penalty marker down. And that'll be another penalty against the Raiders. Richard Harvey came over for what appeared to be a late hit.
Personal foul. Number 52 of the defense. Hit out of bounds. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Richard Harvey, number 52. Eric Allen does a good job. Gets Rod Smith out of bounds. Number 52 just comes over and gives him a little love tap as he's going down. And again, you know, I'm not picking up for the Raiders here, but what I'm saying is that play, they're hustling. They're trying to make plays. They're trying to be aggressive. They got to learn where to draw the line, because right now they're going over.
1st and goal from the 3. Brister, play act, lobs it, Griffith, touchdown. Howard Griffith. And with 35 seconds to play in the first half, the Broncos regain the lead.
That was almost the exact same play they threw earlier to Ed McCaffrey for a touchdown. They covered him this time, but nobody had Howard Griffith coming out of the backfield.
Elam for the point after, and it's perfect.
The point difference is good.
You know, the Broncos, they just throw so much stuff at you. It's hard to cover. They cover the tight end over here. Watch Howard Griffith come out of the backfield. The Raiders, they're expecting run. Nobody sees the running back sneak out of the backfield. Easy throw, completion, touchdown for Bubby Brister. You're playing defense. Hey, I'd honor the fake to Terrell Davis myself. Bubby Brister does a good job of touching it over the top of the defense for the easy touchdown.
And what is now a very familiar gesture after a Denver Broncos touchdown.
Yeah, they get to do that a lot.
The Mile High Salute. Oh, they're doing an awful lot. Coming into this game, the highest scoring team in the AFC. We'll remind you, tonight is CBS Premier Sunday. Raiders, in case you're wondering, have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. And 35 seconds on the clock. Desmond Howard deep for the Raiders. From the 7, it's Kenny Shedd. And hit hard at about the 15-yard line. 9-yard return. And Keith Burns with a huge hit on Kenny Shedd.
Well, this is the mark of a good team. Playing the special teams, we know the Broncos have the offense and the defense. Keith Burns, no, it was number 31, Derek Lavelle coming in and making the tackle. Came over from the 49ers with Coach Mike Shanahan.
And Jeff George going to keep it on the ground and burn the rest of the clock here in the first half.
Good decision. Don't take a chance. I mean, it's really been a pretty good first half for the Oakland Raiders. They've done some good things. They still got a chance, 17-10.
So John Gruden has seen his team come back on a big interception return by Eric Turner to take a lead, but the Broncos kicked a field goal to tie it. The touchdown to Griffith has put them on top. Our halftime score as opposed to 10:36 for the Oakland Raiders.
Well, yeah, the main reason for that is the Raiders, they got their score on the interception going back, so the Broncos get that extra time on offense. But I think you said it right. The Raiders got to be satisfied. They didn't play really well, but it's 17-10. All they need to do, make some big plays on offense, a couple of them, gives themselves a chance to score some touchdowns.
Well, the Raiders will get the ball first here in the second half. Desmond Howard is at his 5-yard line, set to receive the kick from Jason Elam. And Elam will put this one down at about the 2. Howard. across the 20 to about the 25-yard line. Eric Brown with the tackle. Let's go down to Armin Katayan. Armin.
Greg, the latest on John Elway is I talked to Coach Shanahan. He said it doesn't look like Elway will play right now, but he's still questionable. As for John Gruden, I spoke to him. I said, you know, what's up, John? And he said, we've got to eliminate these penalties, and we're got to play for 4 quarters. Back to you.
All right, Armin. This has got to be a tough time for a coach and for a player. You know, a player wants to play. A coach doesn't want to get him out there and aggravate and turn a slight injury into a serious one.
I think John Elway's been around long enough. 3rd game of the year. He knows it's important, but it's not the season. So be smart, don't take a chance. That's what he's doing.
Jeff George intended for Tim Brown. That is incomplete.
Well, Jeff George, he told us yesterday a couple things. When he goes down the field, he expects the middle of the field to be open. We expected to see some passes to Ricky Dudley, but looking for Tim Brown down the middle. Darian Gordon on the coverage. Another perfect throw, but a good hit by Eric Brown knocks it out of Tim Brown's hand.
Eric Brown, the rookie out of Mississippi State, 2nd round draft choice. 2nd and 10 from the 25. Pop. Out of bounds near the 30-yard line, and that's that rookie Brown again with the tackle.
Well, Eric Brown, you talk about him. He comes in as a rookie, takes Tyrone Braxton's job away from him. Tyrone Braxton has done a good job for many years as safety for the Broncos. But Greg Robinson says this guy, he has great instincts back there for a big guy playing safety, has the ability to cover receivers down the field. But like all of them we see now in the league, these safeties, they can all hit, they're all big, and they can cover receivers down the field. Just kind of a new breed.
Brown will watch this one from the sidelines. Tyrone Braxton replaces him on the field on 3rd and 5. George, right over the middle, complete. Harvey Williams with 1st down yardage for the Raiders. 7-yard pickup. Romanowski with the stop.
You know, I just get a kick out of watching Jeff George. He gets a little, like, nervous feet in the pocket. He drops back, and if it's not open right away, he starts shuffling around. But, you know, just like that little pass to Harvey Williams, he can throw the football from every single angle. That time he dropped it down to about his waist and just flicks it over the middle, picks up the 1st down.
From the 37. Coffin. Not much running to pick up of maybe 3. And John Mobley with the tackle. You know, you and I were talking about Jeff George yesterday, and he clearly has one of the 3 best arms in the NFL.
Yeah, but look right here. You see that, how he flicked that hand wide open, Greg? That's something we noticed on the films watching the Oakland Raiders offense, and I believe the defensive linemen on the other teams are watching his bottom hand, and when they see it go back just before he says the snap count, it gives them that little bit of a jump, getting to the quarterback, making it tough on the offensive line.
George wants it all. Down deep and overthrows his intended receiver, James Jett.
There's probably only a couple of quarterbacks in this league that can drop back and have enough arm strength to overthrow James Jett. But we said earlier, Jeff George says, when I go deep, I look for James Jett. He gets behind Darian Gordon. If Jeff George just throws it a little higher, it's going to be a touchdown.
3rd and 6. The rookie Mo Collins, number 79, is in at left tackle for the Raiders. George over the middle, incomplete, broken up by Romanowski. Intended for Dudley.
Bill Romanowski, he told us, hey, I'm getting smarter, and he plays like it. It's just a good job. It's a blitz by the Broncos. Watch number 53 in the middle. Watches the quarterback, goes around, doesn't hit the back, gets that right hand, knocks the ball down on Ricky Dudley. Excellent play by Bill Romanowski.
Leo Aragus to kick it away to Darian Gordon. Not a good kick at all. This one out of bounds at about the 36-yard line. There's a penalty marker down.
You don't play golf, do you?
No, I don't.
No, they call that a
shank.
Shank.
I've heard that. Raider fans cheer. This one looks like it's going to go against the Broncos. That's just a 22-yard punt. Leo would love to get that one back.
Holding during the kick. Number 89, 10 yards. It'll be first down, Denver.
That's a costly penalty on Dwayne Carswell of the Denver Broncos. So it'll still be Oakland Raider ball. We'll come back. Denver football. The Broncos from their own 26. First down, 12:45 to play here in the third quarter. Terrell Davis left side. And not much at all. Richard Harvey with the stop for looks like no gain.
You remember earlier, Greg, we were talking about Mike Shanahan, John Elway. He waited almost the whole offseason to decide he was going to come back. And he was telling us, John Elway, at his own golf tournament, says, Mike, can I talk to you for a minute? Brings him over and says, I've decided I'm going to play next year. And Mike Shanahan says, he goes, okay. And he walks away. I said, yeah, you walked away and had a big party by yourself. And but it was interesting. We asked him, if John didn't come back, what would you do as quarterback? And he said, look, I'd have stayed pat. Bubby Brister would have been my quarterback. He's been here for a couple years. He can run the system.
Brister with time, throws far side, incomplete. Intended for Rod Smith. He was all alone and just didn't hold it.
Well, it's a good read, good protection by the Broncos offensive line. Plenty of time to throw the football. I think what happens here, Bubby Brister, the ball kind of slips a little. Watch it as it goes out there. You can see the wobble. And those type of balls are very hard for the receivers to catch. Rod Smith just not able to catch it cleanly.
Are you saying he shouldn't have caught it?
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure. 3rd and 10.
You don't care how it looks. If it's there, you got to catch it.
Brister from the shotgun. Going to go deep. Incomplete. Eric Allen on Ed McCaffrey down the sideline, and it'll be 4th down.
That's a good job. Nobody open underneath, so Bubby Brister does the next best thing. Just lay it out high and give your wide receiver, Ed McCaffrey, 6'5" against Eric Allen. Eric Allen has to make a good play to break the pass up. But really a good job, Eric Allen, not making contact with Ed McCaffrey, just going up, going for the football. No flags will ever be thrown if you play it like that.
6'5" Ed McCaffrey against 5'10" Eric Allen. Desmond Howard from the 32. Slips and falls just across the 35-yard line. And Derek Lavelle with the tackle. 4-yard return off a 42-yard punt. 11:43 to play here in the third. Phil Simms doing a little windsurfing just before we came out to the stadium, and there, in fact, a couple of the members of the Phil Simms fan club.
Hey, listen, I was down there talking to them before the game.
I saw you. They love you.
They did. So if the Raiders lose, they're going to kick my rear end.
1st and 10 from the 38. Jeff George down the middle, has a man open. Intercepted. Ray Crockett to the 40. What a terrific defensive play by Ray Crockett.
There's no other way to explain it, Greg. It is a terrific play by Ray Crockett. Jeff George, he thinks the middle of the field is wide open, so he throws it out there for James Jett. I'm thinking, wow, this is going to be a big play, but watch Ray Crockett keeps the perfect angle, comes underneath James Jett and makes the interception. Jeff George, slightly underthrown, but it looked like the receiver was wide open. But Ray Crockett on the outside comes underneath the receiver and makes the interception.
Jeff George came in here without an interception in his last 5 games. That is 2 on him today. And Bubby Brister back to work. The pitch to Terrell Davis. Davis weaves his way across the 45 to about the 48-yard line before Greg Biekert makes the stop.
That is the #1 play, the Denver Broncos, their running play. Toss the ball left. Terrell Davis looks, he's supposed to go left, nothing there. Watch him cut back. Here he comes inside. Richard Harvey, the linebacker, overruns it. Lets him pick up 5 yards.
Pick up a 5 at 2nd and 5 as we duck under 11 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Quick look in to McCaffrey, complete, and that's enough for a first down. And right now for an NFL Today report, Jim Nantz in New York.
Well, Greg, the tie has been broken at Jacksonville for the 3rd straight week. Mark Brunell and Jimmy Smith have hooked up for a touchdown. This covers 72 yards, the longest pass play in Jacksonville's 4-year history, and their score now is identical to yours, 17-10, back to Oakland.
Boy, if it isn't Brunell to Jimmy Smith, it's Brunell to Keenan McCardell, and either way, it's a heck of a combo. First down. Denver at the Oakland 42. Pitch to Davis. Davis with blocking, breaks free, first down yardage inside the 30 and out of bounds, forced out by Eric Turner.
I mean, that is a great example of why Terrell Davis is such a good runner. The last time we saw him cut it up. Now watch the pitch this time. He goes out here, watch the patience. He's gliding along, all of a sudden sees the hole, and he's up inside quick. You always hear the defensive coaches and everybody saying, hey, Terrell Davis, he runs north and south. That means when he turns those shoulder pads and he gets them parallel to the line of scrimmage, watch out, he's coming fast.
First down, Denver from the 25. Davis hit in the backfield, bounces off the tackler, can't elude the rest of him. Richard Harvey with the stop. Richard Harvey has played himself a heck of a football game today.
You know, I was just going to say, he is working hard. I mean, he's going to go home tonight and go, whew, I'm tired, dear. I mean, that's the thing I've noticed, and we've said this earlier, I just got to say it again. You know, I know they're making the penalties and some mistakes, but this Raider team is playing with more emotion, more enthusiasm. It plays harder. Last year, they might have quit being down 17-10. They gave up too easy.
Second and 11. Brister has his man. Wayne Carswell, the tight end, and inside the 15-yard line, and a man down in the backfield.
Tony Jones.
That's Tony Jones. But he is up, and well, he looks to be okay.
Well, that's the case in point. As a quarterback, you go back there and go, are you okay, Tony? And no matter what he says, oh, you're all right, get up, come on, come on. You'll be okay, get in there and protect me. You know, the quarterback never wants to see those backup offensive linemen come in the game. It takes them too long to adjust to the speed, and, well, that means
you might start to think about it.
That means you might get beat up a little more.
First and 10 from the 11, penalty marker down. Terrell Davis, the ball carrier, but this is a holding call against the Broncos.
Holding number 62 of the offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
That's the right guard, Dan Neal, the second-year man out of Texas.
You know, that last tackle was made by Albert Lewis, and, you know, I had a chance to play many times the throw against him. He was a tremendous corner. You know, getting late in his career, they moved him to safety, and he's done a fine job so far at safety, but I'm just seeing him out there today. He's in a new position. He's in there like a linebacker. You know, got to get in there and stuff the runs, and it must be really, well, it must be weird for him to see the game unfold in front of him instead of on the sideline.
Tougher life.
It's a lot more physical.
First and 20. Brister, far side. Rod Smith. Smith out of bounds at about the 13-yard line. Richard Harvey was there. Pickup of 8 on the play.
Well, I think you're kind of seeing, too, which we said at halftime, just because John Elway's out, this offense doesn't change. They keep attacking. They keep coming after you. They try to score points. And we kind of talked about this, you know, before the game, right? We were sitting there, and the Broncos don't try to win. They try to blow you out. They want to win by a lot. They want it to be over if they can. If they can get it over with by the third quarter, midway, you know, take those chances, try to make those plays.
Brister, all alone on the right, throws, end zone, touchdown. Ed McCaffrey.
Well, Ed McCaffrey going against Charles Woodson. We talked to Ed yesterday. We said, what about Charles Woodson? He says, well, he's a little bigger than I'd like, being the rookie, but watch him go down the end zone, and look how long he carries the fake out. Takes his time. He knows Bubby is making a fake, rolling right, gets that little separation, and Bubby Brister makes the perfect throw.
Second touchdown catch for McCaffrey today. Elam to add the extra point. And his kick is good. 7 minutes, 8 seconds remaining to be played here in the third quarter. Bubby Brister finds Ed McCaffrey for the score. And the Broncos lead it 20.
Part of the NFL United Way team. The NFL, the United Way, and you, the power of teamwork.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
It takes good timing for passes to work in the National Football League. Look at Ed McCaffrey. He knows it's going to take Bubby Brister a while to make the fake, roll to his right, so he took his time in the end zone, gets away from Charles Woodson for the touchdown.
Desmond Howard from the 5. And out of bounds, close to the 25-yard line. Torrey James drove him out of bounds there. 20-yard return, and the Raiders will look to get back into this thing when we come back. Along with Bill Fims and Armin Kate and Greg Gumbel at Oakland, Alameda County Stadium? Coliseum.
A lot of names there.
Ballpark?
Yeah.
I'm working on most of them.
They lead the league in names for a place to play.
First down. From their own 26, and Jeff George goes back to work. The Raiders trail 24-10. George to the near side, in and out of the hands of Napoleon Kaufman.
Well, there you can see that time Bill Romanowski, other people getting back in the backfield, trying to make a play against Jeff George, and we just talk about this Bronco team on offense and defense. They're just relentless. They never let up. They keep trying to pressure the other team to score points, and they try to pressure the offense, their defense does, to make mistakes. And it must be fun to be a defensive player, all the things they do and as many chances they take.
To the near side, Kaufman hit hard in the backfield by Romanowski. On more than Denver Broncos. Armin.
You know, Greg, you talk about a work ethic of a Super Bowl champion. 2 seasons ago, only 8 players were in every single offseason workout. This season, there were 36. There were another 19 that only missed 1, which meant that 55 players, virtually an entire squad, had missed only 1 workout. Tremendous work ethic, and Shanahan said it's showing up on the field as it is today. Back to you.
Armin, thanks. You're right. It's a total team effort, and Mike Shanahan conceded that to us when he was talking last night. He couldn't be happier with this group.
Well, he said after the Super Bowl, I said, what is your message to the players to keep them motivated? And he says, we got to get in better shape. We got to push harder in the offseason. And the great thing is they responded to it. Everybody didn't go out and do their own thing, trying to make money because they were Super Bowl champions. And we heard the examples. Bill Romanowski has his own sprint coach. He works out all day, goes and sprints, takes his 50 vitamins a day. Ed McCaffrey, the same thing. They got these individual coaches, and it permeates through the whole team. Just the attitude, keep striving to get better, and we keep seeing it on the football field.
Incidentally, the player on the field who has just trotted off is cornerback Darian Gordon, and Torrey James has now replaced him. Now, the Raiders looking at 3rd and 11. They are 1 of 5 on 3rd downs today, and Harvey Williams in the backfield. Towards the throw. This side, complete. James Jett close to the Denver 40-yard line, and that'll be a Raider first down. 37 yards. And he comes up limping.
Well, good job picking up the blitz. Jeff George throws it down the field. It's perfect to James Jett. You can see the protection against the blitz. Good move. Makes Torrey James miss, but watch who makes the tackle. Number 90, Neil Smith, defensive lineman, hustling down the field to save the play.
Terry Mickens has replaced Jett. The handoff is to Kaufman on first down. There's Neil Smith, longtime Kansas City Chief.
Well, he's going to take a break, because after that last play, when hey, a defensive lineman chasing James Jett down the field, now you deserve a break after that play.
2 yards on the play, 2nd and 8.
But that kind of shows you about the league, about the team. These defensive linemen nowadays, they catch so many people from behind on the offense, keeps them from scoring, so many touchdowns.
2nd and 8. Quick throw to the far side, in and out of the hands of Terry Mickens. Ray Crockett was there to defend. And we remind you, high above, the Goodyear Blimp Eagle has been providing these aerial pictures at the controls. Pilot Nick Nicolari. 1998 is the 100th anniversary of Goodyear and the 73rd for its blimp fleet.
It's blimp
fleet.
It's blimp fleet.
Glenn Hampton's the cameraman there, incidentally.
It's hard to say.
I know. 3rd and 8.
Look at all the linemen. Look at everybody up there. Jeff George checking off.
George, as the penalty marker flies, trying to get rid of it. Marvin Washington, the man in on him.
Well, what happens? Jeff George breaks the pocket. The offensive linemen, they don't know it, so all the defensive lineman takes off at a funny angle. They go, uh-oh. They reach out and grab and hold.
Number 22 of the offense. Penalty decline.
That's Harvey Williams, and it'll be 4th down.
Well, this time it's Harvey Williams, number 22. Look at him down here. Again, a blitz. He gets locked up against Ma'a Tanavasa, and that is not a good matchup for the Oakland Raiders.
But a pretty good tackle by Harvey Williams.
Yes, it was. Play a little defensive back when he gets done.
4:51 to play here in the 3rd. Darian Gordon back at his own 10. Nice high kick. Fair catch called for. He dropped it. Raiders say they have the football. And they do. Remember, just a few moments ago, Darian Gordon was down onto the field and was helped off to the sideline. He comes back, signals for a fair catch, and loses the football.
Well, I think what happens is he looks up in the air. It's such a nice, high yanking kick. The sun gets in his eyes. He looks like he loses where the football is. At the last second, he tries to make the adjustment. Can't do it.
Aaron Wallace recovers the fumble.
He signaled for the fair catch, so he wasn't worried about the defenders around him.
1st and 10 from the 11. And a big break for the Oakland Raiders. Kaufman across the 10 to about the 8. Pick up a 3 on the play. Middle linebacker Glenn Cadrez with the stop.
No turnovers for the Broncos in the first 2 games, 2 today. And, you know, that last play we saw, Napoleon Kaufman running inside, that's where I think the Raiders, when you get down in here, you need those tough yards. They could use a big back. Somebody who can really push in there, move the pile. You know, you can't block and get these wide open holes that you can out in the middle of the field. You need to power it in once you get inside the 10.
2nd and 8. Pitch to Kaufman. Looking for running room, can't find anything. Romanowski and Cadrez, quick linebackers, in on the tackle and a loss of 2.
Tough to run on the edges against the Denver Broncos. I think sometimes you can overpower them up the middle, but you're not going to outrun a defense. They want to run. Watch Bill Romanowski. He's got the force look. You can't even block him the outside. Takes the lead blocker out of the way, and look at the help he gets from the inside.
So it's 3rd and 10 from the 11. George calls timeout. That stops the clock with 3:16 to play here in the 3rd quarter. The Broncos lead it. The Raiders knocking on the door today. This would seem to be an ideal situation for him.
Well, I would think so. I mean, the Raiders like to move him around, and I would think this play, he would have a route called where it can change according to the coverage that's on him. So it could be a slant, outside, give him a lot of options so you can get the ball to him.
George over the middle, touchdown! Ricky Dudley.
That was a good job of play calling from the sideline. The play before the timeout, the Broncos showed one defense. They came back out that time, an entirely different defense. The play call let the offense go to Ricky Dudley.
Greg Davis with the extra point, and it's perfect. Let's go back to the touchdown pass to Ricky Dudley.
Well, first, let's take a look at Tim Brown. You know, you're the Broncos. Hey, there's Ray Crockett on him, and he has help over the top by the safety. Double team with Tyrone Braxton. Look at Ricky Dudley. Nobody even over him. Gives him a free release. Glenn Cadrez, hey, you're open. Throw it over the top. The defensive guy never sees the ball thrown.
Jeff George knows a touchdown when he sees it.
Hey, when he came up and lined up, he saw the alignment of the defense. He knew the chances were good, but he's going to be able to throw it to Ricky Dudley for the touchdown.
Coming into this game, the Denver Broncos had committed no turnovers in their first 2 games. They've committed 2, and both of them have led to touchdowns. The interception return, and then Gordon's fumbled punt.
Yes, and you know, Jeff George told us Friday afternoon he thought Ricky Dudley could play a big part of this passing game for him today, because what we saw the last play, they expected a lot of that today. Tim Brown being doubled, Ricky Dudley, the tight end, being singled. They expected him to get up the field, but that has not been the case so far. That's the first time he's gone down the middle and gotten open.
Vaughn Heverin deep. For the kick from Greg Davis. Heverin from the 5. 20. Across the 25 to about the 27, maybe the 28-yard line. And a little pushing and shoving after the whistle. We'll take the opportunity to remind you, next Sunday, the NFL on first down from the 28. Brister with time, and now down. Lance Johnstone, his second sack of the day.
Plenty of time to throw the football. You're the quarterback. You would like to get this kind of protection every time. Watch Bubby Brister. Plenty of time, looking, nobody open. Finally, Lance Johnstone breaks free of the tackle. Tony Jones gets in and makes the sack.
Loss of 9 on the play. 2nd and 19, and now the Raider crowd is back into this game.
5 wide receivers.
Brister outside, has his man. That's McCaffrey.
Now see, that's the Ed McCaffrey I know. Where when he catches the pass, he just gets beat up. You know, everybody's like a magnet. Hit Ed, there he is. You know, we had a chance to talk to him yesterday. This is really the first time he's been like the full-time starter outside, being an outside receiver. Before, he was always the guy running over the middle, making those tough catches. But you can see, and we've seen today, as the lead receiver, he can get open and he can do all the routes.
3rd and 9. Brister steps up into the pocket, throws incomplete under the pressure. Intended for Shannon Sharp, and the Broncos will have to punt it away. Once again, Lance Johnstone, heavy-duty presence in the backfield.
Well, you know, the first 2 weeks of the season against the Kansas City Chiefs and the New York Giants, if the coverage downfield could have been just a little better and gave him like an extra second, he'd had about 6 sacks himself. So he's been doing it all 3 games.
Desmond Howard lets it bounce, picks it off at the 25, breaks the tackle, and out of bounds as he approaches the 35, and a penalty marker is on the field. It'll be a procedure call against Denver.
Illegal formation. Number 26 was not on the line of scrimmage. Therefore, there was not sufficient number on the line. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 4th down.
Eric Brown was on the outside, one of the runners on the punting formation, lined up in the backfield, tried to step up, but he waited too long, did not get on the line of scrimmage. Not 7 men on the line of scrimmage. That's why the penalty was called.
There's the rookie out of Mississippi State. It has been a yellow flag festival here today.
Well, you know, the Raiders just bring that out in you. You know, it's just like, it's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of penalties when they're involved.
Tom Rowan to kick it again. Howard at the 32. Across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. John Mobley with the tackle. And for an NFL Today report, once again, Jim Nantz in New York.
Well, Greg and Phil, you know, that Raven defense highly respected, but Mark Brunell now over 300 yards passing today. He's going to the big sofa, Damon Jones, and a 2-touchdown lead with 3 minutes to go in the third. Back to Oakland.
That Jacksonville offense, when it is clicking, it is unbelievable.
Well, it's probably San Francisco, Denver, and Jacksonville, and Green Bay. Of course, those teams, they're going to score points every week. You shut them down, they're still going to score 24.
Napoleon Kaufman looking for running room on the right side and doesn't find much, maybe a yard. We were talking about the penalties. Denver has been hit with 7 of them worth 65 yards. Oakland, 6 of them worth 75 yards.
No gain on the right. Second down.
Second down for Jeff George and the Raiders. That's Mo Collins moving on the front line, the rookie out of Florida.
False start, number 79, 5 yards. It's still second down.
That's Collins. You know, on the other side of the line is Lincoln Kennedy, who is no shrimp, and he was saying, you know, I can't wait for Neil Smith to come in here because I don't like Neil. Yeah, and they said, why? And he's, no reason, just don't like him.
Well, he just wasn't going to tell us. No. You know, but that's good. You know, I've always said, hey, hatred's a great thing in this game. It just makes for good TV when players don't like each other.
Here's Al Davis, the man who runs these Oakland Raiders. 45 seconds left here in the third, 2nd and 15. George over the middle, incomplete. James Jett had all kinds of running room over the middle.
Well, we heard Jeff George. He told us, he said, look, when they're going to blitz, I'm going to check off. We're going to throw those 3-step drops, and my receivers are going to run short. That was a good example of it. James Jett, he catches that. It's a foot race. He's going to get a lot of yards.
Ricky Dudley comes to the sideline in favor of more speed on the field on 3rd and 15. And now Jeff George changing again.
Well, it's another blitz by the Broncos, so he has to change.
And he calls timeout with the play clock running down.
You know, you're the offensive coordinator. You're John Gruden over there. You go, well, let me think here. Now the Broncos have blitzed about 90% of the time. I got to call one play where they're not going to blitz. So he's guessing. He's not right. So Jeff George has got to change the play, and there's just not time to communicate that to the offensive linemen and the wide receivers.
You know, we were talking with a couple of the Raiders yesterday about what it's like to have a guy as young as John Gruden come in.
Yeah.
And one of the guys was Russell Maryland. He said, you know, I don't feel so bad because I'm 29 years old and he's 35. Now, if he was 28, I might have a problem.
That's right. Well, no, he had a good answer. He says, hey, look, they hired him. Al Davis hires him. The man must know a lot of football. And immediately, I think, after the first time they had a little mini camp and they got together for 3 days, all the players knew that he had a plan. He knew what he was doing. They respected his knowledge. So it's been a pretty good marriage so far.
Jeff George communicating with his receivers again. Play clock down to 3 to 2, and he gets it off. And blitz, and down he goes. Tanuvasa.
Well, what happens is Jeff George sees the blitz. The Broncos don't back out of it. They look at here, Darius Johnson coming from the outside. Jeff George sees it. We can't pick it up, so he changes protection. The tight end gets him, but then Mo Collins makes the mistake. Number 79 blocks down, lets Tanuvasa go. He sacks the quarterback.
Darian Gordon fumbled the punt last time he had a chance. He'll field this one at his 20. Back to his 10. Looking for running room this side. Pulled down at about the 17, and a penalty marker is down.
Penalty flag on the field.
Penalty is against the Broncos. Jerry Austin.
During the run back, illegal block from behind, number 26 of the receiving
corner here in Oakland. And a chance for the Raiders to make a defensive stand and put themselves in good position to tie this game.
Davis, running room, across the 10, out to the 25-yard line, or the 15-yard line, excuse me.
Well, when you're backed up against your own goal line, what do? You just go to your favorite play. Instead of tossing it since they're by the end zone, they hand it off to Terrell Davis. And what they like to do is get Howard Griffith, number 29, to try to block outside. If it's there, Terrell Davis goes outside. But what happens most of the time, like the last play, he cuts it back inside because everybody is over-pursuing, trying to get to him, picks up those yards inside.
And Davis gets them out from under the shadow of their own goalpost. 2nd and 1 at the 15. Davis again, spinning across the line of scrimmage and may have gotten the first down.
You know, I was thinking about this last night. Terrell Davis, and he's had a wonderful career, come to the Broncos, just hoping to make the team. And I kind of think how lucky he was to come to the Broncos. They didn't have a premier running back, but he comes there. Mike Shanahan wants to run the ball. He's got Alex Gibbs, an offensive line coach, who does a wonderful job in the running game, tells Terrell Davis, hey, look, son, you get to make one little move, and then I want it into that line and get some positive yardage. And I kind of equate it to like a quarterback, being in a system that's right for him. So, you know, he's fortunate. I know he's a great running back, and he'd have done well anywhere, but it's just magnified because he's here in Denver, because of the system, the coach, and the way they do his team.
A remarkable young man.
All the adversity he went through as a young man, you can kind of understand why he's so tough and so determined in this game of football, and he's taking advantage of a great situation.
Terrell Davis averaging 6 yards a carry here in the second half after averaging less than 3 a carry in the first half. First down from the 16. Davis again turns it up across the 25 out to about the 28-yard line. That is another first down, a pickup of about 13.
I mean, good blocking at the point of attack by the Broncos, but really what makes it happen is this. Watch, Richard Harvey in the backfield. He's going to get the tackle, no gain. No, you're not. He just rips right through it going forward, makes Greg Biekert miss him, and then drags Albert Lewis for another 3 or 4 yards. You look at the stat sheet, you say, wow, another 10, 12-yard gain, but Terrell Davis made it happen.
First down from the 29. Davis again, this time stopped in the backfield. Lance Johnstone with the tackle. Let's go down to Armin for more on Terrell Davis. Armin.
You know, Greg, I talked to Frank White, who was Terrell Davis's Pop Warner coach in San Diego, before I did that piece you mentioned on the NFL Today. Phil, you were talking about the north-south running. He didn't learn it in Georgia. He didn't learn it in Denver. He learned it on the Pop Warner fields in San Diego. That's where they taught him when he was about 8 or 9 years old to run straight up the field. Back to you.
You know, I bet it's easier to run north-south in Pop Warner than it is in major college football.
Well, I'm sure it is, but it does kind of show you when you get something taught at a young age, you'd never forget it, and he's the kind of kid, if a coach tells him something good, he's not going to forget it either.
On 2nd and long, Brister to the far side, down the field, Rod Smith pulled down from behind, inside the 40-yard line by Greg Biekert, and that is enough for a Denver first down.
Boy, Bubby Brister is fired up, and I tell you, you should be, because what a play by Bubby Brister at quarterback. Goes back, he's waiting to try to find somewhere to throw. Just watch him. Well, he almost fumbles the snap. Nobody's open. Let's just move to the right. See, hey, Shannon Sharp's covered, and he finds Rod Smith and throws a strike into the middle of some defenders. Greg Biekert, good thing he was hustling. Otherwise, it's a touchdown.
36 yards and a first down at the 38-yard line of the Oakland Raiders. Brister, right side, gonna run it. 30, out of bounds at about the 25-yard line, make it the 25, and it is a first down.
Oh, I tell you, he's hot. Oh, look at John Elway, and they're getting Brian Greasy. They're listening to the plays, and Bubby is getting after it.
It must be quite the thing for you to watch a quarterback running the football.
Well, yeah, okay, smarty pants. But Bubby Brister, hey, you know, Greg, he's got a good arm, and all the time he played, he probably never got much credit. He is a good quarterback. Physically, I think he's gifted, and we're seeing it today. Again, a quarterback getting in a different system that really suits what you're doing, he's taking advantage of.
Bobby Brister in his 12th season out of Northeastern Louisiana. This is Terrell Davis trying the right side and getting maybe 3.
And the other thing, you know, Bubby doesn't lack enthusiasm. I mean, if you can remember back the days when he was the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback, they were having some success. They got to the AFC Championship game one time against the Denver Broncos. Always fired up, jumping up and down, and now he's got his hands on his knees because he's gasping for air.
He's been with Pittsburgh and Philadelphia and the New York Jets, completely out of football back for the 1996 season.
Kind of gambled that year. You know, the New Orleans Saints wanted him to come down, offered him a good contract. He decided to wait for a better offer. None came.
2nd and 8. Davis lost the football. Raiders say they have the football, but the officials have not concurred.
Well, they're trying to decide, was it blown dead? Was he on the ground?
And it doesn't look like they're going to get this one.
I think his knees were on the ground. It looked like the ball came out late. Hey, but the Raiders...
Players ruled down by contact. 3rd down.
But the Raiders do the right thing. Go in there and fight for that ball when it gets on the ground. Watch Terrell Davis. They're trying to rip it out. Still has possession. He's on the ground. Now the ball came out. Good call by the officials.
John Gruden says we were oh so close to stopping this drive. The difference is a touchdown right now. Clock is running, 9:55 to play here in the 4th, and a 3rd and 2 for the Broncos. Davis didn't get there. Darrell Russell with a big stop in the middle of the defensive front for the Raiders.
Well, there's no thinking on the part of the Denver Broncos here. You're up by a touchdown. 4th quarter, getting near the midway point. You kick the field goal, get that 10-point lead.
4th and 2.
Jason Elam has already kicked a 35-yard field goal today. He will try this one again from 35 yards out. And it's good. That stops the clock. 9:06 to play in the 4th quarter, and the Broncos have upped their lead to 10 points.
He had a wet towel over his head. He is gasping for air. And I think, of course, he's exerting more energy than he expected to today, but the excitement playing, and he's playing well, it's just got to be a great feeling for him, because it's been a few years since he's got out there and had this kind of success.
He has done a good job since coming on for John Elway in the first half. Desmond Howard not going to run this one out of the end zone. 9:01 to play in the 4th quarter. It'll be 1st down for the Raiders. Throws far side. Hoffman out of the backfield. Pickup of about 6 on the play.
Well, a little pressure on the Raider offense now. You know, you get there's 8:47 to go in the game. You're down 2 scores, so you know somehow on this drive you got to at least get a field goal. You'd love to get a touchdown, of course, but you got to get some type of score.
George has his man complete to Ricky Dudley.
That's complete to Ricky Dudley.
And that'll be enough for a 1st down.
You know, you talk about the offense that John Gruden has here. Look at Jeff George, what he's done going down the field. You know, what I like about that is I think everybody expected when John Gruden came here, the reputation, we're going to see a lot of short passes. But when you come here and you see a quarterback that can throw like this, you know, you have to get the ball down the field.
Far side, complete. Midfield, 1st down, Tim Brown.
And that's the reason why you got to throw it down the field. That play illustrated Jeff George perfectly. They blitz. People are all around him, and what's he do? He kind of steps backward and just flicks it sidearm. Watch how he throws his football. Now there's nobody in the NFL, maybe Brett Favre, who can do this. Under pressure, he takes a step backwards, throws it sidearm, and then hits Tim Brown right in the chest.
first reception of the day for Brown. 49-yard line. The pitch to Kaufman. And Kaufman dragged down from behind by Glenn Cadrez.
You know, talking to Jeff George Friday, I think that everybody in the league, fans, media, we all perceive him one way, that, you know, he might be like the problem guy. He's always causing problems where he goes. And you know, he's been in the league 8 years. We asked him, how many systems you've been under? 6.5. And I said, what do you mean 6.5? He goes, well, in Indianapolis one year I had 2. We changed mid-season, went to a whole other system because I got a different coach. But it'll be interesting to see John Gruden, Jeff George, if they can make this thing work, they could settle down.
Look in, complete again to Tim Brown. So, not having caught a pass all day, Brown has caught a couple now here in the last minute or so.
Well, Jeff George, even though he hasn't caught one all day, Tim Brown, he had until recently. When he drops back, when in doubt, look for 81.
Here's Al Davis, the man who hired John Gruden to come in and right this Oakland Raiders ship. 3rd and 4 from the 43.
Look at the blitz. Here they all are, checking off. Got to get rid of the ball quick.
Here they come. George got his man. Jet across the middle. Across the 25 to about the 23-yard line, and a first down for the Raiders.
I know you probably can't remember, but a few plays ago, the last time they had it, he threw the exact same pass. James Jet dropped it. This time, here comes the blitz. Look at the players coming. Jeff George checked off. James Jet running across the field. And I tell you, sometimes James Jet gets this kind of start on a defensive back. It could be a touchdown, but Darius Johnson does a good job, takes a good angle, tackles him.
James Jet, 4 receptions, 107 yards today. First down from the 23. George to throw. Hits his man and immediately corralled is Napoleon Kaufman, and John Mobley was all over him. That's a loss of about 3 on the play.
Greg Robinson, the defensive coordinator for the Broncos. You know, you're playing defense and you're calling these plays. You look where they're at on the field. They're on a 25-yard line. You could think, well, let's don't give them any more than a field goal. But if you can stop them right here, the field goal becomes a problem because it'll be a long one.
2nd and 12.
So be aggressive with the defense.
Here comes the blitz again. Quick pass, picked off. Ray Crockett. Crockett will make it an 80-yard return for a touchdown.
Ray Crockett with the interception and the touchdown for Denver.
Well, Greg Robinson trying to put the pressure, doesn't want to give up the field goal, wants to make it hard on the Oakland Raiders. He blitzes. Look at the blitzers coming. Jeff George sees it. He's expecting the route to change. He expected Tim Brown to come inside. Because of the blitz, Tim Brown did not read it. He went up the field. Ray Crockett read the quarterback. Hey, gets an easy interception, but a good call, good play by the Denver Bronco defense.
No interceptions in his 5 games previous to this one. George has been picked off 3 times today, and the extra point is good. And the Broncos lead it now 34-17.
For 97.
Welcome back, everyone. For those of you expecting to see 60 Minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS and our game between the Denver Broncos and the Oakland Raiders. I'm Greg Gumbel, along with Phil Simms and Armin Katayan. Denver leads the Raiders 34-17. 60 Minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast and the Mountain Time Zone. Desmond Howard on the return. Breaks the tackle. Knocked out of bounds close to the 20-yard line. That stops the clock. 4 minutes, 19 seconds to be played here in regulation, and the Raiders have work to do. This is the play that just put more points on the board for the Broncos.
Blitz by the Broncos. Tim Brown, Jeff George, a little miscommunication. Ray Crockett picks it up, scores the touchdown.
80 yards in all, and now George and the Raiders go back to work, and the blitz knocks George down inside the 10-yard line. 3rd sack of the day of Jeff George. John Mobley in on the quarterback. John Elway looking on from the sidelines. He left this game early on in the first quarter. Reminiscent of the injury that he suffered a week ago against Dallas, he appeared to re-injure that right hamstring, left the game, and Bubby Brister has performed well enough that Elway could watch the rest of this one from the sidelines.
Well, Bubby Brister, 10 of 17 for 140 yards, and also what was big, 5 rushes for 36 yards.
Quick look-in pass completed by George to James Jett, who has had a pretty good day himself catching the football. That's 5 catches and up over 110 yards in receiving for Jett. Clock continues to run with 3:35. As you see, George with 3 picks today. This complete to Ritchie out of the backfield, the rookie from Stanford.
Did you see that? Elvis has left the building. Yes, Shannon likes giving a little message to the fans after all. But did you see he has the gloves? He has his Super Bowl ring on over his gloves that he catches with.
Well, he can dress.
Right. Yeah, he wants to have a little style on the field too. Huh?
3 minutes to play. 4th and 3. And Darian Gordon says, leave the football alone. And it'll bounce down and be touchdown at the 25-yard line.
By United Artists Ronin and by the NASDAQ stock market.
Back in Oakland, where it is 2nd and 5 and 2 minutes to play. And Derek Lavelle on the carry, and the clock continues to run. The Raiders will travel to Dallas next week, while the Broncos move to Washington to take on the Redskins. And, you know, with all the changes this year and the new coach coming in, you have to ask, are the Raiders a better team this season, Phil?
Without a doubt. I've seen all 3 of the games. I like what they're doing. I think it's going to take a time for everybody to adapt to each other, but I think the enthusiasm, the way they're playing harder. I like the way they're coaching both sides of the football. And I think by mid-season, this Raider team, it has enough talent to go in and beat just about anybody, and it could upset the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Number 84, 5 yards. It's still
That's
3rd
Shannon
down.
Sharp, the guilty party. Interesting to note that since 1971, Denver has started a season at 3-0 only 5 times, and that includes each of the last 2 years. And 4 of those 5 times, they went to the Super Bowl. So if you're a believer in omens,
I'll let them finish the year out before, we'll see how it goes.
Lavelle again, and the clock continues to run. Under a minute 15 now.
Greg Egan and James Harris with the tackle.
Meanwhile, another terrific afternoon for Terrell Davis.
Yeah, he has had some tough games against the Oakland Raiders, especially here. And today it wasn't easy. A lot of times they got him at the line of scrimmage, and he picked up some short gains, but he kept plugging away. And then, like most good running backs and running teams, sooner or later they start breaking that line of scrimmage and picking up nice yards.
And the Broncos come in here averaging 34 points a game in their first 2 games, and 34 on the board today. Desmond Howard backing up and lets it go, and a good decision as it bounces into the end zone. And that stops the clock with half a minute to play. And that'll go into the books as a 76-yard punt for Tom Roman. And don't forget, tonight is CBS Premiere Sunday. All new episodes, 60 Minutes, Touched by an Angel, and the CBS Sunday movie The Marriage Fool, starring Walter Matthau and Carol Burnett. That's all tonight. CBS Premiere Sunday. Donald Hollis comes on as the quarterback for the Raiders for this last half minute of play. And there you see John Elway talking to Denver owner Pat Bowlen. Miscues, enough to fill up a shopping bag.
Well, 4 sacks, 3 turnovers. Hey, 7 penalties. That is an improvement. Believe it or not, after 31 the first 2 games.
Hollis throws over the middle and finds his man. It's complete to Terry Mickens.
But it takes a while to adjust to the coaches, the new system, and I'd like to just see the Raiders keep the same coach, the same quarterback for a couple years and just see where it would lead to, because over the last few years, so many changes. Hard to get good when you're constantly making changes.
Harvey Williams' run will be the last play of the afternoon here in Oakland as time runs down. John Gruden sees his team fall to 1-2, while the Denver Broncos improve to 3-0. 34-17 is the final, and we'll come back and say goodbye right after this.
Be happy with the way they've started out. They're back in rhythm.